Hello, everybody. It is March 3rd, 2025, and you might be wondering, didn't I just watch Dovecote yesterday? If you're watching these live or in order with like accurate time distances between the two, and you'd be right, because you are watching the Dovecote episode 60 with Z Gosck, as aka Zygmunt Thotep, aka Z. Z, say hello.
Hello, everyone. What's up, chat?
Yeah, Z is... Actually, do you want to introduce yourself? I often give
Yeah,
this...
sure. I'll introduce myself. I am Z Gosck, the Dr. Z. Lots of things I go by. Tabletop game designer, reviewer, influencer, cartoonist, horror host, VTuber. I don't know. I do everything. I do literally everything. I am probably like a tap dancer. I don't know how. Just like I am probably, if I go back through all my records, I'll probably find that I was a tap dancing genius at some point, and then I put on fabulous tap dancing shows.
They called you, they called you Tappin' Z.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tappa. Yes, that's me, or is it?
That's
Perhaps
you.
they're all lies. But yeah, like the last week really like just blew by. It seems like it was only yesterday that the last episode was on.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah, but it was a whole week. It was a whole 7 days. It was... Can't believe all those things happened in the world.
Yeah, it's been 7 days since I talked to Kovita. It's kind of crazy. But I gotta be honest. This is gonna be really disappointing for viewers of the show. I've not been keeping up with your YouTube channel, but I want to know about what you've been doing recently on it. Tell me about... I see that you're doing a lot of like fun, as always, as is one of the best things that you do on your channel. A bunch of really fun, silly, like, let's make a character in this really wild and wacky TTRPG stuff. How has that been?
Pretty good. It's one of those things that, like, the people like it. it's a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, I enjoy making them and people like them, but it comes down to the fact that 10 times as many people watch a video on Tunnels and Trolls as like, I don't know, furry outlaws. So I make 4 videos on Tunnels and Trolls and none on furry outlaws.
Fair.
But yeah, that's mainly what I'm doing. Like last 2 were Tunnels and Trolls, and then what?
You've been in Zine Month mode.
Yes, that's what I've been doing. Then I'm doing all these Zine Month videos where I'm like, hey everybody, check out these projects from Zine Month, and they're like, wow, we're not gonna watch these videos either.
Damn.
I hate to be cynical about it, but let's make a Tunnels and Trolls character, 26,000 views. Here's some cool zines, 500 views.
Yeah.
But I still do it to support the community.
I think that's really, really cool.
Yes.
What is, like, I guess, at the scale that you're at, like, what does, like, more or less views, like, mean for you? What are the consequences of that?
Well, it depends on how many more or less we're talking about. Because, like, as I said, the first Tunnels and Trolls video was like 26,000. I'm going to pull up a number on this so I can give you an accurate number, because it's going to be fucking ridiculous. And you're going to be like, my last video that I talked about Dungeons and Dragons, 166,000.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Yeah, so what it comes down to is something like that. A huge, like a video that really pops off. For me, like at the level I'm at, that gets me a lot of exposure, a lot of new subscribers, a lot of people coming into my older videos. Because people see that, they like it, and then they're like, what else do you have? But like, also obviously more ad revenue, but when the amount of ad revenue you make is below an amount where you can support yourself, it's not that important.
Yeah. When I was an affiliate on Twitch, I felt a similar way. It's like, oh, I have like 12 more followers so that I get like, one more person might subscribe each month and I'll get like $2.50.
Yeah.
And even that is like, my understanding is a lot compared to like YouTube, but depending on where you are and when you are.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it. Everyone just give up on your dreams of content creation. It's very, very sad. But yeah, so that's the thing, is like, it's more so disappointment on like my part, when, as I said, something like I make a video and then I make Tunnels and Trolls 5th edition and it gets like a third as many views as the first one.
Right.
The first one, because the first one is on the first 4 editions of Tunnels and Trolls, because Tunnels and Trolls is insane.
Yeah.
There are somewhere between like 4 and 13 editions of the game, and like, oh no, it gets better. 5th edition released in 1979. 7th edition released in 2005.
Oh my god.
You may have noticed that I didn't say 6th edition. 6th edition is an unofficial bootleg edition of the game. It is like a bizarre game. I recommend everyone go watch my Tunnels and Trolls videos, because I could sit here and explain why Tunnels and Trolls is objectively better than original Dungeons and Dragons. Or I could say, hey, go watch my video in which I very, very, like, well explain that fact. Like, I go through a lot of work. I went through a lot of effort with illustrations and, like, charts and stuff.
When you're done watching this, go...
Yes.
The
go
sentence...
Go and learn.
Well, the sentence that entered my brain is "Go troll Z's tunnel," and I don't think that I can say that about my guests in good faith without like
Yeah, that might give people some bad ideas.
I need to like
You
send
know how
Hitman to get me now.
people on the internet are.
They're all perverts, basically. Is my understanding.
The good ones are. The good ones are perverts.
Yeah. Speaking of perverts, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about your games?
Uh, okay. Well, actually, while we're still talking about my video, I
Yeah.
do want to promote my new channel,
Oh.
the Video Dungeon, where I am voicing the host of the Video Dungeon, Murderella von Bluetrausch, and I am presenting horror movies that are public domain, so I don't have to pay for them.
Can you send this to me? Because I can't
I
locate it.
I can send you lots of stuff. Let's see.
Awesome.
How do I get to the Video
Guys,
Dungeon?
Z Gosck is sending me anthrax in the mail. Not really.
Slash JK
Slash just
FBI.
kidding. In GTA, in Minecraft. Uh,
No, you don't want. We don't want the. Oh, you know what? I just realized.
mhm.
I can put it in chat.
You can do whatever you want.
I just realized that. I was like, I was gonna send it to you, and you could put it in the chat. But I can just do that.
You've
I'm
any
like,
power.
I'm like allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So I did. So
Mhm.
that's what I've been working on for like the last week or so. Because I had it. It's one of those things that I'm like, ooh, I want to work on this. Like, it's a thing I want to do for like years, and then I had this kind of epiphany of I can sit around and wait until I can do it right, or I can just fucking do it, and then I did.
I
So
adore this
that
character, by the way. The character for this is so good.
oh, thank you. As I said, as I alluded to, I spent like years developing the character, like not like consistently, just like
Mhm.
over the course of time, refining the design for once in a while. Whenever I got it in my head that I was going to do it, and then I was like, ooh, I don't feel like I'm ready to do it. And then, like a month ago, I just got it in my head. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do this, and then I did.
Hell yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Sucked into the
Yes.
VHS. That's so true. Thank you, Audiovore. Um, speaking of perverts,
I don't know. I don't know what perverts have to do with my games. I write good Christian games about satanic cults and having sex with couches.
yeah, it's normal. It's normal to do all of this.
Everything I do is normal.
So I believe the last time you were on, I think your last game at that point was either Cottagecore Goblin Lesbians Destroy Capitalism or Penetrating the Veil. Though I don't feel like Penetrating the Veil was out when you were last on here. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember. Like, yeah, that seems about appropriate for the time frame. It could have been. It could have been like right before I released Penetrating the Veil.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of your older stuff like has like both like erotic text and like erotic subtext. Um, but I feel like you've leapt into it in a really great way recently.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like Penetrating the Veil was a big like. I want to actually. God, I don't even remember why, but like, I was like, you know what? Why not make a game about fucking ghosts? Like,
Yeah, it's
that
fun.
was the thing. Like, ooh, I can be a little saucy about it. Actually, that game, relative to my most recent
Hmm.
release, Dinosaur Erotica, the role playing game. Uh, I kept kind of timid. Actually, I feel like I have a weird. I feel like there's a weird level I'm at where because I am a publicish figure, like my face is on the internet and such, that there's only like such a long degree that I can really like so far that I can go in these things. Like Penetrating the Veil is fairly tame. Dinosaur Erotica is less tame. I'm pretty sure there's nudity in the book.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not positive. I know there's an outline of a horse. You know what? Never mind. Why don't we just
I think there's nudity in the sense that there are outlines of like very in-depth outlines of cocks. I
Oh
really,
no. Oh, also, I think the interracial Brachiosaurus polycule illustration has some tits out.
hell yeah.
If
Oh yeah, yeah,
if I
yeah.
remember correctly.
I believe you're right. Um, I I really like. I did I didn't get around to actually playing it, unfortunately, because I got distracted by other things. But I did make a character, or I made like a setup for it. Like I made like a a journaling situation for it that I should get back to at some point. Um, and I really enjoyed reading through the book. There's so much just like uh, it's such a charming teacher RPG. Like you've gone for such a I mean I think the obvious one is like sort of a Tingle esque a Chuck Tingle esque
Uh,
vibe.
yeah, the book is dedicated to Chuck Tingle. Like I'm not gonna sit here and not pretend that Chuck Tingle wasn't a huge influence on this.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's great.
I do need to address chat though, because somehow I put it in the book without realizing that I had included a dick hardness scale.
You did, in fact.
Yeah, I didn't put those words together with the illustration and its context until it came up in chat right now, and I was like, wow, I missed a really obvious joke in my own book.
It's okay. I like the bit of like it being about like what you can take.
Yeah,
'Cause- yeah, it's good. It's funny.
yeah, like the original context is obviously funny. Just I just missed the punness of it.
Yeah, fair. Um,
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
just black out when? No, I mean they were streaming it. If I remember correctly, and they were very focused. They were locked in.
Oh yeah. I think I was doing. I think it was like very much like, okay, Twitch, we're just gonna you and me,
Mhm.
we're just this is gonna be a secret. This is gonna be a secret from Twitch TOS. We're just not gonna tell them because sometimes you just don't tell Twitch TOS what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, Chuck Tingle recently posted his entire AD&D book collection. Very cool. Good for him.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he's got a lot of books, and then of course he wrote his own role playing game, which I reviewed, and then some crazy person sent me the entire collection of all the books.
Mm.
Thank you again. Uh,
Duck. You need to be nice, or else the terraforming lasers will begin their process on your house, and it will not survive the process.
and yes, Chuck Tingle needs to hire me to fix the Torch layout. Like, here's the thing.
But
Like,
you are right.
here's fact. Here is a fact about Chuck Tingle. The role playing game holds true to his Tinglers in that the man is not an editor.
I see.
Like, that's just a fact of Chuck Tingle. Is he is not an editor. His books are full of spelling errors and like weird things like that. The worst being, sorry, I just had one of those things about that I'm about to say the sentence. In bisexual vampire unicorns teach me the importance of the vampire cough. At one point, the vampires say, "Don't worry, we only suck clock." And I was like, "Wow, that's an unfortunate typo."
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Like it was a funny joke, but then like you're reading the clock and like it really detracts from the comedy of it. Yeah, I bet you didn't think we were going to be talking about bisexual lesbian, no, bisexual vampire unicorns.
Who do you think I am?
I don't know.
What sort of show do you think this is?
Like,
Where are you?
I watch the show. I feel like, you know, not all of your guests are as like weirdly sexual as I am.
This is true. Yeah, there. I don't often have many opportunities to talk about stuff like this. So, um,
Yeah,
something.
I weirdly sexual. I write games about fucking ghosts and dinosaurs and
Oh yeah.
monsters. I mean, actually, no, you haven't. I was about to say you haven't seen much of Wet Dungeon because I've kind of put it on the back burner. But that's coming out at some point, maybe.
Oh, what's sorry? What is it?
Wet Dungeon.
Oh yeah,
The like my erotic tunnels and trolls hack.
yeah. I'm excited for that. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's that is a thing I made. I make somehow I've gotten to a point where I'm making very weird stuff and like it's sitting very nicely with me.
Hell yeah. Um, yeah. Something I wanted to mention that I really like about like the erotic like work that you've done thus far in TTRPGs is that like I think I kind of implied this earlier, but I want to put it more of a fine point on it, which is like I think there's a lot of value in. I'm working on this blog. That's a sequel to my other blog that I can't say the name of on Twitch. And one of the things that I say in that blog is that like I think that there is a necessity and role for like weird horny games, weird horny queer games that are like not about hurting each other and getting hurt really badly. That are not about like the bleakest inner depths of the transhuman soul. Um, and I think that is something that I really appreciate about like dinosaur erotica is that it's like very cheesecake and lighthearted and playful, while also having like room for drama and stuff. I don't know if you feel like that's accurate.
Oh no, oh no, absolutely that is accurate. Like, I kind of like my overall attitude towards making games is games are fun. So
Yeah,
like make games that are fun, and I try to be like, especially when it comes to sex, like very positive. Like I'm sure you've read Dinosaur Erotic. You like how much time I invest into explaining how you need to create like a warm, safe, comfortable environment to explore sexuality. Like
yeah,
that's a very important part of like there's a fucking chapter about it. That's my thing is I want to create works where people can go into and like feel safe exploring just that like sexual aspect without having to, as you said, have it be some dark, dreary, introspective, you know, thing. I don't do that. I do shallow happy game. I do shallow happy
yeah.
games like Satanic Panic, the role playing game where you play as satanic cultists trying to bring about the resurrection of the Dark Lord. Normal
Yeah,
things.
nice
I'm a
games.
very normal person
You should check
making
that
very
game out.
normal games for other very normal people.
Um,
That's what I do.
something I've talked about online before is that like and a thing that I've like felt weird or bad about before, and like I don't understand why I did that. Um, is like there was a time where I was like, I don't like that I am like interested in bad things happening to girls as long as they're okay with it. And then I thought about that a lot, and I like talked about it to some people who I like really trust and think like do extremely good work, and they were like, "No, that rules actually. Like it's okay to not be like a grimdark like all your stories don't need to be about girls having horrible things happening to them and then getting traumatized or whatever. Like you can just have a good time. You can just suspend your disbelief a little.
Yeah. Fun fun is what media can be for. Like it can be more from that, but like it does seem like especially in certain fields there is an expectation that media is supposed to be like meaningful.
Mhm.
like in a big way, uh, especially for like any marginalized creators. Like I feel sorry for like there's like an expectation that you're not allowed to just make something fun because you want to.
Yeah. um, and I do have to also say, like, I think some of the folks who make some of the work that I think of as being like the most edgy and hardcore and like brutal. Also, if you heard me eating, I'm eating halal food. Uh, I probably shouldn't mention that at the top of the show. Anyways,
Yeah, some more mukbang.
yeah, some mukbang, some
I
audio
tried to
mukbang.
I tried to tell her to charge extra for this. She didn't listen to me.
I didn't. What was I saying? Oh yeah, some of the people who like have been the most supportive of the stuff that I do, like the softer stuff that I do, have been the people who like make work that I think of as like really aggressive and cruel and like you know, uh, it turns out that actually people have multitudes and like seeing things that are not like the things that they make. Um,
The hell you say?
yeah, it's crazy. Apparently, Junji Ito doesn't like horror. I didn't know this, or
What?
at least is afraid of horror. Uh,
Oh, he's such a nice young man.
he's a nice young man.
Oh, I love the economy, like the difference between American horror creators and Japanese horror creators.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Wow. I was about to say something. It just flew right on my head.
it's okay.
Oh yeah,
American,
people can say multitudes. Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. Like, here's the thing: is you have a skill set. I have a skill set. We all have skill sets, and we can make certain kinds of stuff. And we don't make certain kinds of stuff, or we can't make certain kinds of stuff. Like maybe it just doesn't work. So yeah, like going to other creators for specifically content that is unlike what you make is very normal. Like I'm uh, weirdly enough, which like people I've had people be like, wait, really? Not realize that I'm a huge, huge, huge horror fan. I make very little horror content because horror is very, very hard to do.
yeah,
Like I could do a fucking Dungeons and Dragons in my sleep if I wanted to. But like a good horror, that's freaking
hard.
really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why I lumped like so much immense praise onto Slasher Flick is because it's a horror role playing game that actually does horror well. And like
Mm-hmm.
I was working on a horror game. I was working on a horror slasher theme game. I actually kind of stopped working on it because Slasher Flick did it so well that I'm like, okay, this addresses almost all of my issues, and I don't feel like I really even have anything of value to add to the conversation after that. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you can just say, this thing I'm working on, I don't think it adds to the conversation, and I don't need to finish it.
I feel like there's also the element of like sometimes you make a thing and it's like unexpectedly a thing that you like are not necessarily into like outside of it. Like I think a good example of it is like We Live Forever has some shit that's like really scary. Like that like I wrote and Crowley wrote. And like I have not really thought about like the fact that I wrote some pretty effective horror in in We Live Forever because like I don't really do horror. I get really scared of horror. It's like too much for me. Um, and I don't know. I feel like there's some potential for like, you know, sometimes you just kind of wind up accidentally making you pour a lot of things that you're like, uh, that you're anxious about or like that you have feelings about in your work, and those aren't necessarily always the same things that you like enjoy consuming.
Yeah. As you said, people are multitudes.
Yeah,
Bitches are multitudes.
bitches are
Bitches is legion.
multitudes.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh god, I didn't bring intro, the interview bird coming in hot. That was a crazy sound that I just made, huh? Brawr.
Episode 60.
Episode 60, baby. Uh, it's never gonna get better than this. This is the best it gets. If you think it's gonna get any better from here, you are sorely mistaken, loser. Um, yeah. How are we? Let me see where we are on time. Uh, I feel like I feel like I have like one last thing that I want to talk about with you, and I'm trying to think of because you are a multifaceted, a multitudinous creator, and I feel like we live
Yes, I
to
got my tentacles in a lot of pots.
yeah,
Because
we live
I'm
to
a
miss
plump right now.
anything. I don't know. Oh yeah, I should ask my usual question. Have you been playing anything recently that you want to talk about?
The answer to that is, of course, no.
Okay.
I like
Yay.
it's like 80% of my time goes to YouTube, and then the rest of it to like designing and drawing funny pictures for the internet.
Fair.
I don't think I don't think I've played anything at all since the Dinosaur Erotica playtests. Jesus fuck! Wow, that was
A pretty
the life
yeah.
of a designer.
Yeah, that's real. Gosh, it's hard.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So is there anything else we can talk about?
I can. Oh yeah. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
That's what I'm trying to think about. Is like I'm terrible at like plugging and stuff. Uh, that's my problem. Is like I'm on the podcast and I just like ramble and then I forget to say check out my Kickstarter for the Goblin Guide to Advanced Dice Rolling, which someone keeps pointing out in chat.
Oh yeah.
I know who it is. I'm just not gonna give them the advantage of.
Get in there. Oh, you already sent it. Hell yeah. Oh damn, you're that's awesome. I'm so glad to see this doing well. That's sick.
Yeah. So funny story. Two facts about this Kickstarter campaign. One, it is the most successful Kickstarter campaign I have run thus far.
Hell yeah.
Two, it is quite possibly the least effort I have ever put into a Kickstarter campaign.
Huh.
I just fucking give up at this point. Like I don't know. I don't know anymore how to run a successful Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, you do all the right stuff. You run the ads, and like it goes okay. You do freaking nothing, and it does even better. So I have no idea. I have
It's
literally, yeah. I'm just like, how, why, nothing, because like the last like the last few ones, it's like every time I've been like, oh, I'm getting better at like running a campaign, making a more professional looking page and all this shit. And then this time I was just kind of like, oh, I want to work on other things, so I barely paid attention to it, posted one update. There's like one image in the whole thing. It's a hilarious image, but like just somehow, and then this one just blows up, and I'm like, I don't know. I give up. I do not. I will never understand. I will never understand what makes something succeed.
Earnestly, good job doing jack shit.
Yeah, like the thing is, I would love to be like, oh, my hard work and dedication's really paid off. Nope. As said earlier, I spent most of the month making like browsing all of the other Zine Quest projects, making those Zine Quest videos, making the video dungeon. I finishing up the second Tunnels and Trolls video. Like I barely had any time this month. I would just like Boop. Like my I don't know if my contact at Kickstarter like doesn't work there anymore, but like emailed her, she never got back to me because my last few campaigns, I literally had a person at Kickstarter who I could email and be like, "Hey, you should look at my project and submit it for consideration for the projects we love," and she would, and that's why my last 3 projects were projects we love. But like, cause that's the
Yeah.
fucking thing about it. It's like,
It's just random.
yeah, like I did not have that additional advantage this time, and just like, eh.
Yeah. I uh I've been in like unfortunately, like direct verification's doing well, but it's kind of like in clench mode a little bit. Um Not to maybe the worst possible phrase I can use for it, but you know what I mean. Like it's been a little tough. Um and it's so hard to tell why things happen the way that they do. I never know. Um oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna show my
No,
own work
actually,
on my show. Check out Dracotrification if you like dragons
yes.
and fucking them.
Check out Dracotrophication. It's like biotrophication with dragons.
Yeah, they made another one
If
and it's
you
dragons this
if
time.
you if you want to fuck a dragon or be a dragon, check out Dinosaur Rock.
Dinosaur erotica, yeah.
Bam! I twisted it around on you.
So true. There is a very sexy stretch goal. Yeah, Natalie Putum is gonna do some stuff for it if we hit what is it like 1900 or no, sorry 2800. So check that out.
Wow, that sounds very sexy and exciting, and everyone should go and back it.
Yeah, I wish I could wink with this model, but imagine I'm doing that. Wink, wink. There we go.
Yeah, that's what you say, wink.
Yeah,
Wink,
that's when you say wink.
smile.
um, I gotta really.
Yeah, we need more games about fucking dragons.
We do. It's important.
Like, I feel like when we go into when we go into when we go into like fucking in Dungeons and Dragons, it's always like, ooh, we're gonna fuck the elves and the orcs, especially the orcs and the goblins. People love fucking goblins. Very very few people have what it takes to really step up to fuck the dragon. And
It has a big one.
we really need to put more focus on that as a community.
As a society.
Yeah, as a society, we really need to focus more on fucking the dragon. That's like it. If it makes people feel better, we can say it's a metaphor. The dragon is your worries and concerns, and by fucking the dragon, you are embracing it and overcoming its terror.
And it's a fat scaly ass.
Yeah, it's actually just about fucking the dragon, but like, you heard it here first, chat. Fucking Dragon 2026.
I feel like okay, so like there are axes of what you can do when you encounter a dragon in a TTRPG. You can kill it, and you can, the threat of the dragon will be gone, and you'll gain its treasure, and like that's pretty cool. It's cool to have the dragon's treasure, I think fundamentally. Or you can pull the John Darnielle. You can offer yourself in some way to the dragon. You can offer a service to the dragon. You can be perhaps even be in league with dragons. To further reference John Darnielle, or you can get the best of both worlds and have the dragon's treasures and its affection and its trust by having gay sex with it.
Yeah, that sounds like the way to go. Who doesn't love a nice scaly cloaca?
Yeah. This is an important thing that I think we all need to learn, is that like we live in an era. You can get very far in a TTRPG by trying to fuck the NPCs in this era, in the time where we live, uh, because your GM will think it's novel and give you a lot of leeway, and I think you need to take advantage of that before it's too late. And that's all I have to say about that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck the dragon today, for tomorrow, maybe too late.
it may be too late.
Also, maybe fuck the lich. Maybe, just throwing this out here, dragon lich adventurer polyhule.
I like this. I like this quite a lot, and I think it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're building the better tomorrow of role playing games.
The future will be bright.
Here live on the Dovecote.
Speaking of the future of RPGs, and ways in which it might be better and perhaps improved by certain characteristics, maybe even characters being within it or absent. Do you want to talk about the news?
Yes, let's bring on the bird.
Okay.
I've been watching the show for quite a while. You'd think I would remember the names of the birds.
This is Cortus, the news bird, who's coming in from a very auspicious funeral.
Oh.
I, I should not be doing this bit, but I think it's really funny, so I am going to do it. I was initially like whatever, but learning about this dude through reading, we're gonna talk about the death of Ernie Gygax, who's dead. Hey, no clapping.
It's like the way he's like, we're gonna talk about the death of Ernie Gygax, who is dead. I mean, we could talk about the death of people who are still alive. It would be very ominous.
Yeah, it wouldn't quite hit. So, why am I joking about Ernie Gygax being like, a death that some, not me necessarily may celebrate? Well, one merely needs to look deep within this Gizmodo article. Ernie Gygax, son of Gary Gygax, passed away after battling health problems. It was confirmed by Gygax Jr.'s brother, Luke Gygax. Actually, I don't know if he's Gygax, but Luke. He is Luke Gygax. Okay. I just looked at the URL. Best known for playing Tensor, the Wizard.
Love his disc.
Yeah, famous floating disc. He so this is why I am happy to celebrate his his passing. Which is, I'll just read this paragraph out loud. At the time, Gygax Jr. came under fire. Or sorry, let me read up a little bit. Gygax Jr. departed the revived TSR with the closure of Gygax magazine, following legal disputes with Gail Gygax, Gary Gygax's second wife, and would go on to help support the founding of a third company also named TSR, alongside Justin Lanasa and Steven Deinhardt in 2021. At the time, Gygax Jr. came under fire for several public appearances to promote the third TSR, itself already in dispute with the second TSR over repurposing of the company's name, where he made disparaging, racist, and transphobic remarks, and decried Wizards of the Coast's ownership of Dungeons & Dragons, accusing the publisher of kowtowing to pressure as it tried to address the game's historic relationship to racial stereotypes. The second TSR, managed by Jason Elliott, publicly distanced itself from Gygax Jr. and the third TSR, ultimately changing its name to Solarian Games, and Gygax Jr. left social media after issuing an apology to the backlash. He apologized, but I think if he did that today, he would not have apologized, right? Like, the climate was different when he made those statements.
Way back then, they had this crazy idea that racism was bad.
Yeah, and now it's like, maybe they have a point, is what people say. Um,
Yeah.
and
Like you have no idea how many people have been suggesting in the comments of my Fatal videos that if Fatal came out today, people would be calling it based. Which
huh?
I would love. I would love if the conservative like part of the tabletop gaming community rallied behind Fatal and like tried to play it. I would love that. It would be like the most hilarious thing to ever happen.
I agree. It would be pretty funny. Apology not accepted, Corpso. Oh my god. I mean, agreed, but holy shit. Corpso is just really good. I like that one a lot. Yeah, that's fucked up. Big fan of that. But yeah, I don't know. Rest in peace. I think it's fucked up that they immediately go from that into like this Obit has no like it's Gizmodo. It has no interest in like actually contending with like the you know it doesn't want to contend with this. Uh, it just immediately jumps into like this quote from Luke Gygax about how like he always made time for younger gamers and encouraged them. Unless they were transgender, because you know it's a little woke.
Yeah,
Mhm.
damn blue-haired transgenders.
Yeah, they have their hair is actually blue is the thing, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, so
That's that.
yeah. Uh
Pretty
I have
awesome.
thoughts on this.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking about
uh
this?
so like on the whole, the tabletop gaming community, actually a lot of communities, let's just talk about tabletop gaming community, has like two really big problems.
Hmm.
One is a bunch of like a certain kind of guy, who
Grognard.
wasn't popular in school, and has convinced themselves that they're the scorn of the girls and the jocks and the preps was all because they played Dungeons and Dragons or watched anime, read comic books, were a Star Wars fan, whatever their
Hmm.
current like nerd fandom is that they're trying to claim ownership of. When in reality, it's just because they're shitty people.
Yeah.
Like I've never met one of those people. I've never had someone complain about being, ostracized for being a nerd or being into comics or playing D&D or whatever, and have them not just be like a shit person in general. So that's a problem. And then we also have a problem. This is one more specific to tabletop gaming with idol worship.
Hmm.
I don't know why this community specifically needs idols. They need the grand exalted one to be the one that Partai Clyde likes to go and defend on Twitter because he
Hmm.
totally played D&D lots of times. Anyway, Ernie Gygax is both those guys at the same time. Like
Yeah.
he is just like, I have the name. People cared what he said because he had the same name as the guy that wrote Chainmail, and then revised it slightly into D&D.
Being one of Gary Gygax was involved with so many women that like if Gary Gygax were a necromancer, like being his son would be the equivalent to being like one of his skeletons, which makes this
Well,
image very fitting.
yeah, actually, I I am very amused that because like when I read like who played Tensor, I'm like, oh, Tensor, I'm familiar with his disc. I love that is the image they chose to go with.
Yeah,
They didn't go with a
yeah.
picture of him. They didn't go with a picture of like Tensor even. I think they just went with a picture of the spell named after him.
And then a bunch of dead guys, a
Yeah,
bunch of dead
it's like
guys throwing their money away.
throwing it on Tensor's floating desk. It's
Yeah.
once again it's probably mostly well intentional, but like, yeah, that's my take on this. Is like everything I've read about him is that he is one of those guys, and then like those guys get very upset when you suggest that anyone has possibly had it worse than they have.
Yeah, God.
Like the cheerleader not wanting to date them is the worst injustice that has ever been committed upon mankind. So I think that's why so many of them get into being racist and transphobic, because someone suggests, these other people, things aren't so great for them, and they're like, oh, well, did they have to put up with the jocks and the cheerleaders not wanting to date me? I don't think so.
I
Because, like,
feel like different eras, but I do kind of feel like the Bakers are like our like light-sided version of the Gygaxes, you know? Not
yeah,
necessarily an apt comparison, but I
yeah,
I
but
do think
like,
it's an amusing thing to think about.
as I said, just like in general, there's a tendency in this particular community to want to make people into gods, to
Mhm.
want to deify things and be like, ooh, this person, and that's why we get frickin' Salty Bird, getting kicked out of the community and then just like waltzing back in.
Mhm.
I am surprised that Adam Koebel is like still on the outs.
Yeah. I'm listen, we gotta hold the line. It's they've tried. Those rascals have tried a couple times.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder if there's any specific difference between those two people.
Yeah, I wonder, huh?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's because
Anyways,
one's a pretty lady, chat. In case you hadn't caught on.
yeah, unfortunately. Um, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty girl that might talk to them.
Wow.
Won't, but like is more likely to, because Dungeons and Dragons.
That makes everything worth it then. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's gotta, it's gotta be worth something that she's a girl. Um, yeah. All right. How do you feel about doing our next one and then taking a little break?
Yeah, we can do that thing you said.
I don't know how robust this. Folks, send questions to darlingdemoneclipse@gmail.com. These last two weeks have been last couple weeks have been a little slow, so
Yeah,
please send questions.
yeah, folks. The news has not been good. The news has been old. Nothing exciting has happened. First time I was on, I got to complain about them changing the Adventure Time role playing game to 5e.
Yeah, like listen, if you don't send in enough news, we'll just start talking about like Zelensky or some shit. Like you don't want that. I actually don't want to talk about that, but like it's a good threat. Um. Anyways, so our next thing, what should we send to the email? Questions, please. Any questions that you have for me or my guest, Z Gosck, about any topic. Uh, you know, perhaps
Yeah,
TTRPGs first, but if you'd like to go beyond that realm, if you'd like to do a sort of Todd and Aaron Mega 64 best of the year video with it and go outside of games, then you certainly can. But
yeah.
any
Games,
questions?
monster fucking, whatever.
Monster Hunter, which I've not been playing because I don't have money or time. Uh,
I have never played Monster Hunter because I have not had a console that can run a modern video game until like a few months ago.
Fair. Okay, so we're going to talk about some cool releases. I tried to get more, but I was only able to get two. But I think they're nice, and I think they're cool, and they're like made by folks who I think are pretty neat. Um, so
Things made by neat folks are the best.
yeah, the first one is a friend of the show, actually, Aaron Limbs. Ithaca and the Cards, and What Should We Have Tomorrow? They are both being, like getting like physical romance, like physical fancy versions, basically physical second editions. And they each use or no, they don't. I was about to lie. I was about to come up with a lie. Um, but Yeah, I'll read these descriptions. Ithaca and the Card's Second Expedition is a blackjack-driven story game for 2 to 5 players about doomed travelers on a perilous journey home, inspired by the Odyssey. And What Should We Have Tomorrow? Full Course is a solo journaling game about managing your pantry and cooking a week of meals for your loved ones, inspired by What Did You Eat Yesterday? Um, so I recommend giving these a look. Aaron is a very, very cool teacher RPG designer. I read Aaron's for Aaron's presence in the show. I read Aaron's book, An Altogether Different River, which was great. Um, and these sorts of like story games and games that are about uh, like like slice of life and culture um, and like journeying are really in Aaron's wheelhouse. So I think if An Altogether Different River was anything to indicate by, these will be great games as well. So give these a look. They are backing on Kickstarter, and they are about looks like a bit under 50% at 23 days. So get in there.
You
Yeah,
the time is now. Time is now. Get on. Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't familiar with the original. I did look that. Looks pretty interesting. Whenever I see a game with cards, I always have to stop and ask myself, could you replace the cards with dice?
Real, yeah.
Like that's just a thing I do.
Let me see. I'm curious what this game does with the cards.
Like hypothetically, you could. It would just be really inconvenient.
Yeah, it seems like this has an interest in like using every part of the card, which I think is cool.
That was how the Native Americans did it.
That's right. Um, One thing I also want to note about like crowdfunders like this, which are from folks who are specifically Aaron being like Malaysian. Your U.S. dollar will go quite a ways for a project like this, so it's something to consider.
Throw your dollars into the great Kickstarter.
Throw your dollars into the great Kickstarter. And then the other one is Omen by Guild RPG. This is a $10 solo teacher RPG, or sorry, one-shot teacher RPG. I'm silly. Is a one-shot teacher RPG. I'm also not on my meds. I mentioned this in the last episode, but I'm still not. I got them today, so I'm gonna take them in the morning. Um, Omen is a teacher RPG all about defying fate, designed as a one-shot. You and your friends will come together, create a doomed world, and do what you can to save it. Defy or doom, either way, it's a good time. Which seems cool. The layout is really good. It's made by Lapis Lunaris, aka Satellites Naturalis, who also is doing some consulting on Draco Traffication. As I said yesterday, I'm getting to the point with the show where it's like I can't really it's, the separation of church and state is becoming a bit of a problem. But yeah, Luna's really cool, and so is Gilla.
Nothing wrong with that. Like you put on a show, you can promote your own work.
This is true. It's less. Oh, sorry.
Like I just said, like I've been putting out like the Goblin Guide, and like every video I put out this month, I've been pointing it out because like you're allowed to want your own things to succeed.
This is true. I feel like it's less about that for me, and it's more about the fact that like I continually, as I do more like news stuff and like promoting other like or not promoting but like mentioning other folks' work stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm like tangled up in this. Like I am involved in a not necessarily in a like I'm working on things way, but in a like I know this person, they are perhaps working on a thing that I have made or am working on, which isn't, I guess, isn't bad, but it's like,
yeah, it's not bad. Like, well, here's the big thing: is this like people who make cool stuff. Like I know people who make cool stuff too, several through you. But like that's the thing is I'm occasionally like promoting things. I'm like, yeah, I'm promoting this because it's made by like a friend of mine, or am I promoting it because it's a cool idea? And it's like, or am I friends with this person because they make cool stuff?
Yeah, I feel like there's sometimes like a overlap of all three, and that can be interesting.
Also, we're on the internet. We gotta fight.
This is true.
we got to fight the 5e wave as game designers. So everyone go and back biotrophication, not biotrophication, dracotrophication.
Guys, we gotta get loud. Indie teacher G's have to get loud. Guys.
Yes, we've been quiet too long. Go back, whatever that was. And then
Yeah, it's one of them.
dracotrophication, Goblin Guide to Advanced Dice Rolling.
Yeah.
Whatever our Rook's game was.
Get
forgot
that
what it was
Vincent
called.
get that Baker's one. Get the
Get
Avery Elder one. Get
all the cool stuff from the cool people.
yeah.
And then you'll be cool too.
And then you'll be cool too, and you'll be able to like you'll be able to hang out with all the cool people in teacher RPGs.
By purchasing our products, and especially by pledging to our crowdfunding campaigns, you actually get 1 coolness point for each dollar spent, or 1.5 coolness points for the crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah, and you can redeem
that's
this
how it works.
On like hanging out with. You can redeem this on going to dinner with teacher designers at cons, and if they try to refuse your points, they have to let you in.
Yeah, those are the rules. I just read them, on a wiki. That's how I know about them. I didn't. We are not making this up right now.
Yeah. God. All right. How do you feel about taking 5, and then we'll be back.
All right, let's 5.
All right. See you all at 37.
All right. And then I said, "That's not marmalade."
Why? Why?
Honestly, it was quite a disaster and tragic, really.
Yeah. Well, when I said that, it was something else that was orange and sticky. But you had to keep your legs closed because you didn't want to get pregnant. Anyway, anyways, it's Apocrypha, the male bird. We have mail.
I didn't know this was that kind of show.
It is. It's really sad.
No one told me.
Um, we have a question from Duck.
Mm.
Duck. All right. Um, to Z and the Daemon. Specific fetish TTRPG game you want to exist, but you're too lazy to make or to play. Or to play.
Ooh.
Huh.
Hmm. Do you need some time to think about this? Because I'm actually kind of good to go on it.
No, please go. I'm thinking about
so, okay, because this is a game that I've actually toyed around with the idea of a bimbofication game. Because I think it's like an interesting idea, but like, as I said about like slasher flick, it comes down to how do I make this a meaningfully distinct experience?
it. Hmm.
And then also like what are the effects of that and what do you do in the game? Because it has to be more than just like you turn into a big tits, big lips bimbo. Like there has to be something that you're doing. There has to be like something happening while that goes on.
Right.
And speak of the devil, like 2 Chainz can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
It's
what would I have to? Yeah, what would I have to do to make a game that does this specific experience better than this game that does a somewhat generic experience?
Yeah.
Oh wait, monster fucking's a fetish too, isn't it? But no. I'm actually already making that, so I don't have to. Yeah, so that's the thing. Is like, there's a lot of thought about it, but I'm like, I don't really feel like making it. I've toyed around with the ideas. I always get to like a wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like I could probably scale this wall if I really wanted to. If I really wanted to put forth the effort, sit down, hammer it out, I could probably overcome these obstacles. But yeah, like if you're hitting speed bumps and going, might as well go home, it's probably not
it's not
something
worth
that
it.
like that's not worth your time.
I've had an idea, that I'm playing around with. This is not my answer to Duck's question. It's not a bimbification game, but it is a bimbo game, which would be like a belonging outside belonging game called Fuck Me Like I'm Stupid, but it's like the like I'm is like really small. So it mostly just looks like Fuck Me I'm Stupid. And the idea is that you are so the player, it's a GM to belong outside belonging game, and the GM is like representing these like 3 hypnodoms who are like trying to manipulate these like kind of totally spies-esque like bimbo adventurer hero type characters to like destroy the other hypnodoms. Um, and like those are your pillars basically. And then the every at the end of every session, it's revealed that one of like you start the session and you're like working for one of the hypnodoms, and then at the end of the session, it's revealed that you're actually working for one of the other ones. Like you're just like too dumb to like not be tricked. Basically, like you've been acting in their favor the entire time, and then you start the next session helping them. Uh, and then it just continues on, and you never actually do anything for any of these three factions. You just kind of keep being thrown about this roundabout.
Yeah, I love it. Like, so the closest ideas I've had like came close to that, involving bimbos being like secret agents fueled by Orgon, which is a. Please tell me you know what Orgon is, so I don't have to
I
explain
do,
it.
yes.
Okay, so you know about the. Have you seen the Orgon extraction chamber?
No, I don't think I have.
It's okay. It's like a closet with just like a chair sitting in it.
Oh, oh, I'm looking this up. That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's just great. It's like not like a medical grade cabinet with a steel chair. No, it's just like a chair and a closet. It's like, yeah, this is where you extract the organ.
It's not a crystal either.
Yeah, like that's the direction I keep going in. Is the like bimbos would have this elevated level of organ,
Mhm.
and that like to access that resource, that power, that energy would fundamentally dumb you down.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's really good. That's fun.
Yeah.
I want to just
Once
quickly.
again, though,
Oh, sorry.
like it's a thing where it's like every time I get into a thing where it's like, okay, that's the setup. What do you do with that?
Yeah, real. I want to answer a question from House of Dreams. Um, so not a question. I want to respond to a message from House of Dreams. Because I had said, say hi to me at Big Bad Con 2025. If I'm there, I'll have horns and I'll tell you about girls. And House of Dreams said, I will, especially since we missed each other last year. I was too shy to say hello. Uh, if you see me, I will have horns that look like this at any con. Say hi, please. Like if you're a teacher RPG person, like say hi. Because trust me, like the awkwardness that you'll experience from being from putting yourself out there and like saying hi to a relative stranger will be greatly outweighed by like my joy at being like recognized and acknowledged and like getting to talk to a cool person. So uh yeah, I just wanted to say that because I think it's
Yeah,
worth saying.
like I've never been recognized in public. I bet it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't either. Maybe once or twice. At least from like people who kind of already knew me. But yeah.
Yeah, even then though, it's still someone's like, "Hey, are you the internet's demon darling?" Wow, I said your name wrong.
It's okay. It's pretty wacky. Uh, Teacher Cheese is wacky. Oh, fetish game. Okay, here's mine. I think I know exactly what it is. It's size. It's like macro micro because I I would write a macro micro game, but people would get mad at me because I wouldn't put vor in it.
That is the most valid
Because
answer ever.
I don't like vor. Like I don't like vor.
I
And like
I don't like. I agree.
it's
I am 100% with you on this. Big size difference. That's cool. Micro macro. Cool.
mhm.
Yeah, we don't need to be swallowing each other.
But it's
We
like
don't need to be doing that.
such a part of that. Like people like there's almost no like fandom or like art community for non like non vor like macro micro size stuff, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate thing. But there are a lot of like kinks out there that are just like innately connected to other ones, and you're
Mhm.
like, ooh, I like this. Ooh, I don't like that. Like
Yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, this isn't a secret. For years, like until the recent like explosion of popularity, there was so I'd say like 50% of like the clown stuff out there was also like wet and messy.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I am into one of these things. The other makes me a little uncomfortable. I keep thinking
Yeah.
about who's going to have to clean all that up.
It's huh. Man.
That's the
We
kind of
live in a
person I am. But
society.
I'm like it's like watching the video of a woman sitting on a cake. I'm like, who's going to clean that up?
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to come in. Like, you're doing that on carpet. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, you live in an utterly different world from the world that we live in, where it's just okay to do this. I do really like the idea of 52 card pickup being wet and messy. Uh, 52 card pickup, but it's like someone took like a stack of like playing card cookies and just like soaked them in water, and they just throw all of them all over like the carpeted floor. Um,
See,
and
my thought was you take like just take like a deck of cards and like soak them in like slime, like that clear lotion stuff, so they're like nice and gooey, and then you just like start slapping them on someone.
I like that. I feel like you could just go through like a whole process of making like this almost kind of like fried chicken ass deck of cards where it's just covered in like multiple layers of like tacked on dirt and goop. Um I think that would be good. I think Wet and Messy needs to get more messy. I think like if you're gonna ruin my floor, I want there to be like glitter and dirt and muck and slime in there. Awesome.
Sorry, just someone made a reference in chat that amused me.
Nope, I'm not cleaning that up. Oh, a lemon stealing whore. Yeah, real.
Yeah,
Good. Awesome.
I'm I'm a fan of the LSWs.
Awesome.
Yet another game that I was like, I should make this game, and then got to the point where I'm like, yeah, but why?
This is a question. Oh, sorry.
Because here's the thing, making a lemon stealing horror game that just lends itself so entirely to the freaking you have two stats.
Yeah, true. Lemons and lemon stealing and whore.
They already made lemon stealing horrors. It's called Honey Heist.
That's true. You know, you make a good point. Okay. Our next question is from Natalie Putum of Warrengard and other things. I'm fresh from a LARPCon Intercon. I would love to know if Z has any experience with LARP, or if the two of you have anything to say about LARP in general. And I think the last bit of this is for me. Would also love to talk to you about Monstrosity and your application process. So I guess the first question for you is, do you have any experience with LARP?
I do not. There's a with LARP you have to like deal with people. I was never I was never popular enough to get invited to any LARPs. Same reason I've never played Vampire the Masquerade. I was a goth throughout like middle school and high school, but I wasn't one of the cool ones who got invited to like pretend to be a vampire.
Yeah, I have not done LARP yet. Natalie's trying to get me into LARP, which should be fun. Which I think is why I actually asked this.
I see the fun in it, like not boffer LARP. Technically, I have done the actual LARP combat aspect of LARPing.
Oh, fun!
I've made some foam swords. I have a scar somewhere from a boffer sword because apparently, don't stab someone with a boffer sword.
Huh?
Because there is a solid structure inside it, and if you stab someone with it, that can come out. And yeah, don't do that.
Woof.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun thing if you can relax enough to do it. If you can let yourself go enough.
Yeah.
If you can stop being all uptight and lame.
I feel like I would actually be pretty alright at LARP, just because of like the kind of person that I am, and like some of my like outside experiences. Like I do a lot of conversational work. I'm a social worker, and I have a bachelor's in journalism. So like these, these are things that are like relevant to me. Um, uh, and then monstrosity. I feel like Natalie is like trying to bait me into saying things that like both of us know, but that other people don't know, and I'm kind of feeling attacked. Uh, I'm almost like, I almost kind of want to be like, I don't know, Natalie. You tell me. But no, monstrosity, the like vampire erotic LARP. It has been the application process has been interesting. A lot of really good questions that I will not reveal because I don't think you're allowed to talk much about it. Um, but very interesting application process. I'm hoping to get in. I'm hoping that I get in with a scholarship because I am trying to manage my money and my off time and all that stuff. Um, but it should be fun. I'm excited
Right.
to do a LARP where I can get my shit struck. Uh,
Yeah, I have. I've heard you talk about that. It sounds like a very interesting idea, which is it's going to be very surprising that I would think that was an interesting idea, considering that I have at least one game that suggests fucking as the alternate LARP rules.
Yay.
I don't remember if I had those rules in Penetrating the Veil. I know for a fact that it's in Dinosaur Erotica, but I came up with the joke originally for Penetrating the Veil. But I don't remember if they got cut for space.
I want there to be a rule in Sapphic World. I want there to be a safety thing in Sapphic World where you talk about like two things. One, can we jerk off while we're playing this? And two, if things get too hot, can this just become an orgy? I think that's important. Like I think it's important to have.
Wow. See, here's the thing. Is you
I
just said
stole.
something that I completely didn't consider when I was writing Dinosaur Erotica. I really should have. I was just like subtle with it. I said like you need to address the fact that you know it might be uncomfortable and it also might be a turn on. I did not consider addressing whether or not you should be allowed to masturbate during the game and like discussing that as a thing.
Yeah, it's
Wow, if there are like the amount of people you could put in a room who would have a discussion about whether or not a role-playing game should have rules specifying that you need to discuss if it's okay to masturbate during play. Not a large pool of people, I just gotta say, and we got two of them right here,
I
and, at least one in chat.
see part of it is okay, there are multiple facets to this, and some of them I'm gonna have to redact names. So, someone talked to me about some games of Starcross that they played, where one of the questions that they asked at the end of the game was, um, "Did this game make you feel X?" Like, and there were a series of emotions, and one of them was aroused, and people said yes. Um, and that that struck one thing for me. And then the other thing is I have had playtests of some of my games where people have partners, I would say mostly, whether they be, romantic partners or sexual partners, have come up to me after, and they've been like, either I was stroking my shit during that, like if I'm being entirely honest, uh, or it was really hard not to stroke my shit during that, um, and like I feel like if that's gonna happen, then it's good to have conversations about whether that should happen. If we're okay with that happening, because like it seems like it is, like it seems like things are moving that in that direction. It seems like I am making things, and friends are making things that are like so hot that is occurring. And so I'm thinking a lot about that sort of safety stuff recently, of safety stuff that is like about what what are the like acceptable things to do under the table.
Yeah, like I said, I completely agree. Like, I assume you've read all of Dinosaur Erotica, so like,
Yeah.
okay, so then you're like, throughout that, I'm constantly making a point of like,
Mhm.
it is okay to express yourself sexually with people you are not like romantically involved with, and people who you do not necessarily have an exclusively sexual relationship. So I very much think that's a thing that we should be exploring in role playing games, is not just our relationship with the game and ourselves, but also the person that we're playing with.
Yeah.
Because even even if that's not like your intention, if you're running a game and someone is getting turned on, that is like a sexual experience. Like it's similar to the sexual experience between like an artist and someone who is turned on by their work. But still, it's like, but like more intimate because you actually know the person, and that's like fine. Like that's the thing.
Mhm.
Is if one of my friends was like, "Hey, I masturbate to your art," I'd be like, "Cool."
Cool.
Like that's all. I'd be like, "Yeah." Did you have a follow up question, or
They were just establishing
that's me
this.
talking to the hypothetical person, not asking if there was a follow up question to these questions?
Oh,
But yes, masturbate during games.
yeah. I'm realizing something. So we talked about bimbos earlier, and this is not related to TRPGs, but uh, I ordered a sketch the other day from Inu Amaru, and it's really good. And I feel like people should look at this because it's really good. Um,
Oh, I love it. I love it.
the Aklimbo. Yeah, I was very happy with her.
Oh, yeah, that is very nice.
Yeah.
Like I've I've been getting a lot into like bimbo art lately. These are
Hmm.
weird fucking sentences that we're
You can say
saying.
this
Uh,
on the show, on this
uh,
record.
uh, because I was like, I really like the way that a lot of like the lips are drawn in those,
Hmm.
and like I'm not good at drawing them, so I've been like looking at a lot from references, and I'm just like, these are very like good art. It's significantly more positive than you would imagine.
Yeah.
If you just like explained the concept of bimbofication to someone, they would be like, "Oh, that sounds very much like something that someone would make that stupid reverse bimbofication sequence for." But then, like, you get into it, and you're like, "Yeah, this is actually quite positive and fun."
Yeah, it's often about like liberation, like from like a need to be like on all the time, to be like, a like perfectly I don't know, I personally find it very freeing because like I think of myself as like someone who in a better world would be like uh more like demure and like orient around like my art and like not necessarily like so uh possessed with with a need to grind every single day of my fucking life. um and bimbo is kind of a realm, kind of a zone for that.
Yeah. Uh, to address chat, yes, kind of like hypno.
It's interesting
One,
because oh sorry.
okay, it's another thing. It's like you describe that kink to someone, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, so it's all about you wanting to brainwash these women." It's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, like I don't think I've ever encountered someone who is into hypno purely from like an aspect of wanting to control.
Yeah, except maybe Dr. Mindfuck, but like she's not real. I made a joke today about how Dr. Mindfuck is very proud that she has no exes because she just like hypnotizes them when when they're about to leave. Anyways, um, we have more emails. Uh, so next from Hector Reyes, Hector Reyes from House of Dreams, Okami/Hector. This is not where that is supposed to go. That is in the Discord that I cannot name on stream. Uh, what, what is your opinion?
What she said.
That's what she said. What is your opinion of safety?
Oh, that was a 5-star. That's what she said.
Thank you. What is your opinion of safety tools, particularly alternatives to lines and veils, such as the pallet from J Dragon, or the road signs from Kids on Bikes, from Okami/Hector of House of Dreams?
Well, I know what these things are, but why don't you explain what those things are for the viewers?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know about road signs. You'll have to explain those, but I can explain the pallet.
Okay, I lied. I actually don't know what those things are.
Okay, so I don't know about road signs. House of Dreams. Tell people in chat about road signs. I'll tell you about the pallet though, which is by J Dragon, which is a TTRPG safety tool that is oriented around like kind of multiple axes. Let me actually remind myself of what those axes are before I kind of talk about my ass, because I remember they were fun. Yeah, so the example that Jay gives is explore versus ignore and risky versus comfortable. So it's both thinking on the axis of what is comfortable for what is like nerve-wracking for us to play with, and what is comfortable for us to play with, and what do we want to explore and what do we not want to explore. And the reason why that is better than I'm thinking about whether I want to say this and how far I want to go. How mean do I want to be about lines and veils?
I mean, like, there's a pretty good chance that if you don't cross the line about them, I will, because I am also highly critical of them.
I will cross the lines about them. I'll cross the line about them. So one, I don't think lines and veils are very good. They have been useful for me in certain games, but I think they need to be part of a complete breakfast. Like, you need to be having an additional conversation about desire with lines and veils, because lines and veils are very much about undesire. They are about like the things that you don't want to see. But the other thing that I don't like about lines and veils, and I'm going to be very subtle, I'm going to be very, very vague about this because I don't want to like gesture towards any conversations that have been had in any places. But I think that lines and veils and the broad safety tools ecosystem can be a bit of a walled garden. And I think that the folks who have made those safety tools have done a very good job at marketing their safety tools and being very dismissive of new safety tools that come up. And I will not say who those people are or what specifically they have said, but I'm just going to say that, which is like, I am always glad to see new safety tools that are successful and that people are using, because it means that the lines and veils X card mafia is a little bit weaker, and I'm not kidding. Yeah.
I agree with you. You're like, your main point that you said that they are part of an overall like safety course. I think the big thing with the lines and veils is that lines and veils X card is that they are a lot of things for like when you've gone too far. They're not like for stopping you from going too far. They're for here's a thing you can invoke after you've gone too far. And like it's because like safety tools has become something of a like a buzzword almost. Like I'm trying to remember what game I was complaining about this. The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead universe role-playing game has like a section on safety tools that just like, you might like to use safety tools. You gonna tell us anything more about that, buddy? And they're like, nope. Use safety tools such as the veils and the X cards. Like, okay, like you're not thinking about it. You're just saying use safety tools without considering what that entails. As I mentioned, like, there's like a whole chapter on safety tools in the freaking dinosaur erotica because it's a game where you're supposed to graphically describe sex scenes with your friends. But like, yeah, you really need to communicate what you want and what you don't want and want in these games, and the safety tools don't. All the main ones don't really do that. Also, I said
Yeah.
my criticism that like I feel like I don't have experience with this personally, but see, as someone who can who looks at a lot of games and reads the rules and can like really see how those rules can be exploited, that is what safety tools are. They are a rule for playing. They're an additional set of rules that you can apply to any game, and I feel like people are like I see the easy way in which they can be exploited, in which basically you say, okay, well, we have the safety tools, we have the lines and the veil, we have the X card. So the game master, and we, the other players, don't have to worry about what we're doing. We don't have to actually like use judgment in what is included in the game because these safety tools are here. They will just be invoked if we go too far. It's like, no. In a perfect world, you should never have to invoke a safety tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not. That's like what they're for, is when things go astray. Like you should have a conversation and base things around that. You know who has some really good advice on this kind of thing?
Who?
The BDSM community.
Yeah.
So like everyone, if you want some good advice on safety tools, just look up consent in the BDSM community, and there are lots of people on YouTube who will tell you all about that, and you can apply that to your games.
Find the person you know who wears the blackest outfit, and bow to them, and maybe you'll learn something.
Yeah. I mean, don't
actually do that.
You might want to. Yeah. Like on topic, like yeah, you don't want to go and like initiate play with someone without their consent. So
yeah.
In our joke about consent, we kind of
it's okay.
suggested.
It's fine. We're
the Dovecote, where everything goes according to plan.
Yeah. Okay, so House of Dreams says, road signing kids on bikes using biking terms. Brake is slid on this topic. House is okay to go no further. Pedal faster. Is this cool? Keep going. So basically stoplight. It's basically stoplight, but
okay, yeah.
But thematic.
Personally, stoplight is my favorite set of safety tools because of that freaking last one. Because of the green light. Because especially in certain situations, being able to just say green light is be like, yeah, let's do more of this, without like having to say let's do more of this, which even outside of like sexual situations might just be freaking awkward. If there's like a horrible like terror situation, and you're like, I'm really digging like the level of terror I'm experiencing here, and you want more, it's very awkward to say, yeah, could we have more disturbing body horror, please? Like, putting things in a way that they can be communicated easily without having to say, maybe we could do a little more or less of this. Like, that's what I like. I think it's a good tool. Admittedly, it goes against my you shouldn't have to invoke the tools if things are going according to plan. But that's where like a green light or bullet head is like good.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
soft.
it can and like gives you the license to go further. That's the thing. It's like ideally, if you're using stoplight, you should be using green and yellow are what the things that you definitely want to be using. Because you go green, and then you're like, maybe this is a bit too far. Let's just pull it back a bit. That's a good way to do it, but like works best in, I find, like more intimate games.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I've never really like I've never really used safety tools in like like a traditional group game. But I also haven't played like a traditional group game in a very, very, very long time. Pathfinder.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like
Back when I used to play Pathfinder, no one used safety tools.
apparently
We made
someone.
each other feel uncomfortable, and we liked it. I mean, we didn't like it, but you didn't complain because that would make you the one who can't take a joke or isn't fun.
Right.
Anyway, point I'm making is tabletop gaming groups are one of the most toxic relationships you can have.
It's true. Natalie's suffering in the chat badly. Uh, Natalie said, I have opinions on that. I'm yelling at my screen. I don't actually think the BDSM community is very good at it. I disagree hard. And then this is
Okay,
just the
hold on.
Natalie disagrees with everything and yells at her screen episode.
I have to agree with Natalie. The BDSM community is better at discussing consent than like the mainstream society.
Yeah,
Like it is definitely a case of better,
I can see that.
but not great. And that the fact that I said there are people who are willing to discuss that topic.
Apparently my blog got mentioned in a video essay called Live American Roleplay: An Autistic Study of Society Through RPGs. I need to watch this, but I can't necessarily vouch for this, but folks check this out after the show, because I'm really curious about this now.
Yes, after the show and watching all my videos on Tunnels and Trolls and the Video Dungeon, and we give people homework on the Dovecote.
Oh, also, Sandro's game is mentioned. Sorry, now I'm scrolling a little bit. And also, what do you call it? A hawk moth is mentioned. Very cool. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna have to watch this later. We did get your emails. We're just going through them very slowly.
Yes, we're not good. We're very unprofessional here.
This is a good episode though. I'm having fun.
Oh yeah. You put clips of me in a room together, we'll do great things. But like, productivity is not one of them.
Oh, these are robust questions, but I do like them. I think we can go through these. Let's.
Okay.
Are you okay with lightning rounding these?
All right. Let's go. Let's go. Cock
right.
go Ghosto.
I do also agree with Natalie that I think that sometimes people can be overconfident of their understanding of consent.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. But
and as I said, just like actually having a community that will have that discussion.
Yeah, agreed.
Versus mainstream society where people are like, what the fuck is consent?
Lightning round. Hello,
right.
Ziggy and Eclipse. Making a board game for my game theory class at art school. I am a senior at Otis College of Art and Design, focused children's toy design. Some of the questions are in that vein. Whatever questions can be answered, great. Thankful, Grim Grinning Ghosts, 88. There are 7 questions. We're going to try... Actually, sorry, one of these is not a question. I accidentally gave it a numerical indicator and forgot to... Anyways. Okay. We'll each answer these one at a time. So, question 1. What is your favorite part in the game development process?
Okay, so am I going first? Okay. Concept. Like having like the rough, gooey ideas and like the point where they're just completely amorphous and beautiful and perfect before you start trying to shape them into something that actually works.
I like when it's done and when I can scroll through it and be like, wow, we did a great job. Actually, no, that's not true. I like the middle where you have a like deep well of mechanics that you can draw from and just keep making shit for it. Stares sapphic worldly. How many elements of a game are good to do before it becomes annoying in a player's turn? Oh, so do you mean like how many? I guess you mean like how many mechanics should a player have to like think about during their turn? Uh,
I'm gonna be like really like minimalist and say like 2,
uh,
because like a good game should go fast.
yeah.
That's what I think. It's like I'm thinking like it's your turn. You're like, okay, I'm going to I don't know, cast a spell and then punch someone in the face. Like that's the most you need to do.
I think that I like when there's at least a couple cool things to look at besides the basic stuff. So I would say like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe a
think
little more
the question is
maximalist.
like during a single turn.
Right.
Like that's my thought. Is like you can have lots of different things to do, but I don't like having to do too many of them at once. Like when a turn takes more than like 30 seconds, I'm like, before like we're going back to like what like just to resolve like mechanical issues.
Yeah,
Like we
I
set
can
up
see that.
a thing, do the tests, and then we like that's just to get us to the next part of the game.
Right. Yeah, you should only actually be doing a certain amount, like a small amount of things. I do agree. Um, how many times slash how long is it good to playtest before finishing or presenting a product? Uh, 5 years or not at all?
Agreed. Um, honestly, until you're confident, I think one. Okay, if you run a playtest and nothing goes wrong, you can be comfortable with that if you would
Hmm.
like. It all depends on like how much there is to go wrong.
And what
Like
kind
the
of group
more,
is it? Oh, sorry.
yeah, like what kind of group? Yeah, these are very vague questions. But
I
yeah,
like them
that's
though.
like the as Eclipse said, yeah, 5 years or not at all. Like you don't need to playtest something if you are confident that like all the loose ends are tied up. Like you don't have to worry. I'm trying to think of an example of like something I made. I don't want to be like egotistical and be like, my game such and such is perfect, and I didn't have to playtest it. But like, if you go through and you do all the math and you know like every outcome, then you don't have to worry about it. Or if you don't care, like these are games. Games for fun.
Yeah, I actually have a thought about PBTI, not PBTI, about playtesting, but mentioning a PBTI. Um, I've heard a story, and I don't know how true it is. Um, but I've heard a story that John Harper and Paul Riddle, when they were making the Regiment, which was their PBTA uh, Band of Brothers type game, they um, they did a bunch of playtests, and they played with like a group. And then when they were trying to like do playtests with other groups, they found that the game that they had made through design and play was actually not replicable in other groups, and so they stopped working on the game. Or specifically, they could not, they didn't want to put in the effort they would take to make that game, the game that they were playing with their friends, the game that was on the paper. And so they stopped making that game, and so it's still an alpha. Um, and like, I do think that considering who you're playing with, what they're going to reveal to you is really important in playtesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'll admit this. I didn't playtest Dinosaur Erotica with anyone who I had not had previous experiences with.
Hmm.
So I don't know, honestly, how well that plays out in a situation where you're like just seeing how you want to like push at a relationship. I just guess that like it might work out fine, or it
Yeah,
might not. Not my problem.
fair.
You bought the book; it's your problem.
You bought the
You
book.
bought if you bought Dinosaur Erotica, the role playing game, that's on you.
Yeah. How do you stay inspired to be creative / create / think of new ideas when hitting a wall or having art block / recovering from burnout? I go to work.
Uh,
I drive
my
kids to home from school, and I go to foster homes, and I and I do training modules.
my thing is don't like you don't have to be inspired to create, think of new ideas. Like you don't have to do that. If you're not coming up with any ideas, you can't okay, you can force ideas. You generally cannot force good ideas. One recommendation I have, similar to Eclipse's, is like have a good project that you can just like work on. Like something that doesn't require a lot of creativities. I like to call it a depression project. Just like something that requires just like a massive amount of like writing and other like menial tasks that you don't have to be clever about. I've been making a retro clone of Street Fighter the storytelling game.
Hell yeah.
Because like that's the thing, is being creative is not necessarily like, you know, a magical muse inspired experience. Sometimes it's just doing the work, and sometimes that's good enough. You can just sit down and do the work until you're more inspired. Also, although I will say, I do not know anything about recovering from. What do you mean recovering from burnout? I'm a little confused about that part.
You know, like if you burn out and like you're not making work because you're burnt out, like how do you get out of that slump, right?
Out of?
Oh, I see. You fucking asshole.
No, you just get used to it. That's what you do. Yeah, you burn out, you get used to it, then you burn out more, and you get used to it.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
You keep sliding down the hill more and more. You fucking
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You slide. Slide up your hands and say "we."
It's really funny. To be clear, I thought that was very funny, and I'm not mad at you.
Good.
That was good.
I like it when my jokes are funny.
Yeah. Any tips on working smart, not hard creatively? Templates. Like, genuinely. Like, start thinking about what things are contained in this thing, in this, like, treasure realm or guy. What things, you know, like what is in a playbook, what is in an NPC, what is in a sword, and then just like build things from there. And that can even be like you make the first NPC and then you like just take the like, you know, the name, pronouns, like blah 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 category, and you just copy paste those into a new template or into like a new page, and then you just start writing new text for that stuff. Like, don't reinvent the wheel for every single thing that you do. Have templates, have them ready, and think in terms of them.
My thing is outlines. Like, to work smart, like you need to similarly saying, think of what you need, make a list of what you need, and then you can just say, okay, I need to detail this much of a setting. I need to come up with mechanics for this, and this. I need to make these NPCs. You don't have to do everything right then, but having like coming up with what you need to making what you need to make makes it very easy to actually only make those things. Because especially with tabletop role-playing game design, the easiest mistake to make is over-designing and just like making pages and pages of rules and mechanics and NPCs and shit that you are never going to use. That you're just gonna like go back to later and be like, why do I have these rules?
Yeah.
Why do I have rules for milk? Why do I have 4 pages of rules for milking a cow This is a sci-fi game. There are no cows.
To be fair, you might milk the cow at some point.
Good, you know what? You're right. You might milk the cow.
Gray aliens abducting cows. You find a cow on
Oh
the
yeah,
spaceship.
yeah. You know, see. You know what? I stand. Keep those cow milking mechanics.
You need that drug table.
Yeah. But seriously though, yes. Come up with what you need before you really start making it. There's a lot to be said for also like just getting all the ideas out of your head and on paper, but like knowing what you need to focus on is the biggest thing that's going to stop you from know the trails so you don't wander around in the woods forever, basically. To be weird and romantic about it.
I'm sorry for pinning your chat message, Blurdy Disposition. I messed over it and I was given the option to reply to it or pin it. And Milk the Cow game sounds fun as heck as a pinned message. It's only going to be up there for the rest of the stream. Don't worry about it. Oh, these Z episodes make me silly. Okay.
A little selfish. I don't know. You know, maybe you're the one making me silly. Maybe
That's true.
You know, maybe outside of these streams, I am very calm and cool and collected, and never talk about fucking the dragon.
Yeah, no, we would never fuck a dragon on here. We never
No,
think
that would be immoral.
Number 6. How to find love in your creative work when lacking motivation. Well, I just put a lot of girls kissing in it. No, you answer first.
I mean, girls kissing is a valid way to find love. My slightly controversial take on this: you don't have to. Like, you don't have to love what you're doing. As I said about having like a project you can work on that just, you know, is just work that you need to do that doesn't require passion and creativity. You don't need to love what you're doing. You think you think Jim Davis loved drawing Garfield? No, he hated it. You think you think Scott Adams enjoyed a single moment of making Dilbert?
No.
Yeah, like, motivation is a thing that you make, and it's very easy to want these things to be supernatural, to be divine, to be like the fairy of inspiration coming down and tapping you gently on the head with a little wand. But yeah, a lot of time it's just pushing through. It's just doing the work even if you don't want to, and then once you get through, things will be better on the other side.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Though I do think that, like, for me, it's about there are parts of projects that I don't like, but I don't start working on anything unless I'm really excited about it at some point. Like, for me personally, there needs to be a thrust. Because you know, I go to work, and some days I really like it, and some days I don't, and some days it's a slog. But I want, for as much as possible, for my side gig of TTRPGs to not be a slog. So I try and go for projects that I think I will enjoy and will be fun for me to work on.
You know, in addition to that, like, one of my biggest pieces of advice that I would love to give to any game designer out there: you don't have to finish something just because you started it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people get that idea that you start something, especially the more, you know, sunk cost fallacy. Like, if something is not making you happy, I'm hesitant to say if something's not making you happy. Like, I don't want to be like, does this spark joy?
Mm-hmm.
If something is only being like a negative influence in your life, you don't need to continue with it. I mean, Grim Gritting, Triple G, you actually do need to continue with it because you're in school right now, and there's someone who's going to be grading you on it. But for everyone else, like, if you're finding yourself slogging through something and like not liking it, and also not liking the idea of where it's going and the hypothetical like final outcome. You don't have to finish it. You can just stop.
You can. Uh,
That's allowed.
we have two more questions if we want to get those and then wrap up.
Yeah. Let's
These are
let's to the
from
questions. Let's answer questions
another
from
person
the
has asked us questions, which is blurty disposition. Uh, he, him, they, them. What would you say is your most boring teacher you take? What would you say was the most surprising thing for you when you start a new creative project? I guess is the most surprising thing for you. Uh, and thank you for the awesome stream, by the way. Well, thank you for watching. Let's start with what would you say is your most boring teacher you take?
Oh, the most boring. See, I feel like the go-to here is being like Dungeons and Dragons isn't that good. But like I'm trying to think of something that's like interesting and also boring. Like I don't think hit points are very interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, what's a boring hot? Gosh, I feel like I have some, but I'm like, because I feel like sometimes I do say things that I'm like, all right, so you probably heard this a million times. Um, gosh, what are some
Ooh,
like things that come from
oh,
like big blogs that people really like? Go
ooh,
ahead.
I got another one for my further discussion of hit points. Also, uh, even if you call them something different, they're still hit points.
Hmm.
If you have a number, if you have a pool of points that decrease when you are damaged, those are hit points. Apocalypse World. What?
Yeah, that's very funny. Good. Oh, I have one. Um, The Veteran from Wanderhome is a very striking playbook because it has a unique little feature that you might have heard of where you have a sword, but you can only unsheath it once, and if you do, you have to stop playing that character. It's very interesting.
Hmm. That does sound interesting.
This is the thing that a lot of people have said.
Uh, like I understand. Like that's one of those things. It sounds like you were trying really, like the design there was trying really hard to be clever. And also, it sounds like a nightmare to play because it'd be like, I feel like I would never draw the sword because I just feel like no. There's going to be a better time later.
Sorry, one moment. I'm just hang on. I'm receiving questions about my train. Um,
Receiving questions about the train.
yeah, because I'm getting up real early tomorrow. Da da da. Boom. Okay. All right. Boom. Cool. Uh, yeah. Games. Sir.
Games are fun.
Yeah. Uh, the next question we had is, what would you say is the most surprising thing for you when you start a new creative project? Um, it's okay, Grim. We appreciate the questions. I love getting a bunch of questions.
Oh
Um,
yeah, like I think the first time I was on, there was like no questions, and like I had to ask some.
huh.
I think like I sent in an email, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I have a thought for
Uh,
this. Which is like I when I start a project it is often from a position of I would really like this sort of game to exist. I would really like a more perverted Warframe to exist. I would like a TTRPG that is like playing with some of the same ideas as like Abiotic Factor and Half-Life 1 to exist. And then I think the thing that always surprises me is when I start finding the weight behind that. Um, when I realize like, oh, like not even this is why I wanted to do that, but like this is what this is how this is going to like feel. Like this is where the feelings are in this. This is where the like the hurt or the care or the gentleness or or the warmth or the cold is gonna come out of this like very simple thing that I made out of just like sheer desire to see it made. Um, so I think it's always when like I find the heart for sure.
I'm gonna say like the most surprising thing for me starting to create probably is when I realize that it's a viable project.
Hmm.
Like you, if you follow me on social media, you might actually know. And I'll say you have no idea, but like a lot of my projects start as like jokes and shit posts.
Right.
Like I one time was just like lol dinosaur erotica the role playing game. And then I was like, actually that might be an idea. Like especially a lot of my like smaller games like Dance Macabre. When I was just like, now that I think about it, actually maybe I could make a game about dance battles.
Hell yeah. Good.
Like that's the surprising thing is that like I don't know, I guess I'm not very confident in my own abilities, so I'm just like constantly blown away that I'm able to do these things, that like I come up with ideas because I just when you're a creative, when you are a creator, of course, you are constantly worried that everything that you do is going to be like your last ounce of creativity. And I'm just shocked that I keep going.
Real. Yeah. Sometimes just like, yeah, I did this.
Like who lets me do these things?
How did this occur? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's that.
All right, one more dove coated.
Yeah. A dove has been coated in a really awful slime that you do not want to even think about. It's really scary. Um, well, thank you so much for being on here, Ziggy Z Goss.
Thanks for having me here. Ziggy's fine, by the way. I probably should have said that like an hour ago.
Yeah, that's all right. Uh, I've been posting your links all night, but folks should check out your shit.
Yes,
Get on
check
that
out my
Ziggy.
shit. I'm awesome. Yeah, I'm Zigmentotep everywhere.
Get on there.
ZIGMENTHOTEP. It's a terrible username, but I've also been using it since MySpace days, so it's fucking everywhere.
It's like an Egyptian god. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna raid Merope Cow, who's playing Liza P. Go say hi. And
All right.
I'm glad folks enjoyed. I'll be back next Monday with... Is next Monday the Sasha Renault week?
Mm.
Maybe? Let's see. Next Monday is... No, next Monday is Wendy Ribston. The return of Wendy Ribston. My good creative and otherwise partner, Wendy. So be there for that. And have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun